I'm going to show you now how to add materials and set assignments in Google Classroom. So I'm just going to switch to Google Classroom. So in the last video we looked at how to add different topics, how to edit, delete them and such. I'm now going to show you how to put materials into a topic. If I click Create at the top, you can see there's a series of different options that we've got. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to add YouTube videos and how to use links to websites. There's a clear difference between an assignment and a material. A material, you can see the different logos just here, are things like PowerPoint presentations, they might be past papers which are in PDF versions, or Word documents. These are documents that the kids can't edit, they're documents that they can view, but they're not interactive anyway. There's no deadlines or anything like that. If I show you an example, if I go down, let's go down to one of my more recent ones. Let's have a look at using mathematical Python programming. You can see here, this is a material and this is an assignment. So in my material, there were 2 lessons. If I have a student who'd missed a lesson, I can direct them to Google Classroom and say, all my resources were on Google Classroom, go onto there and they can see those. They can click on a PowerPoint and they can see the lesson that I taught. This is an assignment. The assignment here, you can see I posted this in November. You can see the PowerPoint presentation. This is an interactive one and I'll cover that in a later session. So you can see I'm expecting the kids to add something in here. If I click on View Assignment, I can see all the students who have submitted that assessment and I can set a due date on that as well. So, to add these, I'm going to add a material first. If I just click on Material, I'm going to have a title. It's worth making sure you've got clear titles. It goes without saying that once you've added a lot of documents, it gets a little bit confusing, so just try and make it clear for the kids. So I'm just going to call this Networking Workbook, or it could be Networking Task 1. Over on the right hand side, we can decide which students this is going to be for. So here are all my classes, and I could put multiple classes on if I wanted to. So if I'm setting the same work across a year group or over a series of different classes, it's just going to save me time. I can decide which students in the class I want to post that to. So you click on the down arrow and all the students would come up. I can choose which topic I want to put it in. So I'm going to put it in networking. And then I'm going to click add. Just on a side note, you can create your own documents if you want to. If you haven't made one already, if you just click plus on the create, you can use a doc, slide, sheets, etc. Type of document. Now, in a later session, I'm going to show you how to do Google Forms and low stakes quizzes and assessments using forms, so look out for that video. Docs is similar to Microsoft Word, Slides is similar to Microsoft PowerPoint. If I was to click that, you'll see it adding. Once it's added, it'll open a new window and it looks pretty similar to PowerPoint. It's not quite as clever as PowerPoint, however, I'll explain the benefits of this later in another video if you are thinking about doing more interactive work for the kids. So I'm just going to get rid of that one there and I'm going to add a document that I've already made. This is going to be an assignment I want the kids to do. I've completed this by a set, it's a material. It's just on there for information for the students. So if I click File, I'm going to select it from my device, but if you have got a Google Drive and it's in your Google Drive already, you go to the top and click on your drive and that will bring up all your work. If you do have a shared drive as a department, this is a Google shared drive. This might be a link to somebody else's Google Drive, so you can get work from them straight away. So you could click on one of these and it will find that information for you. So I'm going to upload one. I've got it on my area. Here it is. I know it's not quite the correct topic, but we'll add that. You can add several of these at the same time. If I click upload now, you'll see it uploading. And there it is. If I want to have a look at it, I can click on it again. It'll open a new tab. There we go. So once I've done that, if I click post, it should put it straight onto my page. So there it is. So if I wanted to create a workbook for my students, or if I wanted to create an assignment, you've got to complete this for 2 weeks today. This is the work, this is how you create an assignment. So I click create in the same way and I click on assignment. It looks pretty similar to the materials, although we've got a few different options down the side. So we can decide again which classes we want to assign it to, which students in particular, if it's within a certain class, and this is where we can put a due date. So I'm going to put a due date for Friday. I'm going to put a time, let's go for the end of school. And then I can decide again which topic I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in that networking one. Now you can add a title, so it might be networking task 1. You don't need to add anything to this. It might just be you're giving students instructions to do something a little bit like show my homework. However, that's kind of duplicating what we've done, and usually we want to put some resources on to go with that. So again, we can either create a resource using this one, or we can add one. I'm going to very quickly create a Google Doc, and it should load up. So task 1 completes a diagram of, and we can do that. Now it automatically saves, so I don't need to do anything with it. I can just shut it. There it is. Now this is the interesting part. Here are the access rights for the students. If you want the students just to view the file, you need to keep it as students can view the file. You give the option for students to edit the file. If you give the students the option to edit the file, they can make changes to the original copy of the file. This is really good for group work because you could assign it to certain students and each team could have a different document. However, I tend not to use that. As you can see, it probably opens yourself up to quite a lot of concern if students post inappropriate things on there. And this would make a copy for each student. And there's going to be in one of the future videos where I talk about interactivity. You can give instructions in here as well. And then you can click assign. Before I click assign, there's something called a rubrics, and I'll come on to rubrics at a later date, but that will help with marking. Click assign and you will see that appears any second in here. It's got a different logo, and if I click on it, you can see that is the material, and here is the task. It tells me when I posted it, it tells me when it's due, and the students will see this exactly as it is. So it will say due. If you wanted to, you could have this coming on your stream so they know what they've got to do, but it does tell them that they've got an up and coming task due for the end of the week. They've got to complete this workbook.